We have to remember that the old programming in our mind doesn't go away. You don't unremember it, okay? What you do is you reduce the triggering of it over time. So when you replace a thought with a new thought and you're going through your life, your environment's a constant trigger. So it's going to trigger whatever is most relevant to you. Think about this for a second, okay? I can prove this to you in a pretty interesting way. Think about something that was really important to you when you were in either grade school or high school. It was on your mind. You were thinking about it all the time. It was such a big deal in your life at that moment. And then ask yourself, when was the last time you thought about it? It's probably been years, maybe decades for some of you, right? But at that time, when you were 14, 15, 16, 13, it was huge. It was everything. You were talking to your friends about it. You were writing notes about it. You were writing in your diary about it. Like it was big. It was like all consuming. And now it never even enters your mind. If I say to you, think about it, you can find it in your memory. It hasn't been erased from your memory. It's still in there in the deep, dark recesses. Now, if something was to come along and trigger that memory, like I just did, right? And not in a negative way, just by saying, think about something that was important to you when you were a kid, you can go back into your mind and go, yes, I remember this event was very important to me, positive or negative. So as you're changing the way that you habitually think, none of the past stuff goes away, right? Even things like trauma and hurts and shame and guilt, all of that stuff is still there as a memory in your subconscious. So the key is, if I keep installing new positive things and training my mind on how to think the way that I want it to think, I will stop my life, my current life will stop triggering these old ideas, and it'll start triggering the new ideas on a regular basis. That's what'll stay relevant in my mind. And when you're looking at the laws of the universe, for most everything that we go through, the most relevant law on a daily basis is the law of polarity, because the law of polarity states that everything in the universe, both physical and non-physical, has an equal and opposite side to it, and they're connected. So business people frequently get in the where's it going to come from mode. How are we going to make the money? Where are we going to get the sales? Where the people are going to come from? Where's the team going to come from? And it's like, wait a second. The second that you can even recognize it indicates it's already in your life. And if it's already in your life, the question is not where is it going to come from? The question is, what are you going to do different to bring it in right now, because it's already there? So let's go back to working with the law. Again, this is my favorite paragraph and bit of understanding. It's in the law of receiving in the book. I've got an old book, so the pages won't matter. But here's how this paragraph starts off. He says, you may ask, can I desire things not ready for me to have? Can I ask too much of the law? Does the law withhold things from me which are not for my good? Now, those couple of questions are very relevant questions in many people's mind. Can I really have what I want? Is God going to step in and keep me from having what I want? Or is the universe going to say, no, it's not the right time for what I want? These are all misunderstandings that human beings have. And so here's how he answers the question. He says, true desire represents the urge of life, seeking a fuller expression, and is kept alive by the continuous expectation of its fulfillment. That's the first part, meaning that if you really want or need something, what keeps that desire alive is the continuous expectation of its fulfillment. That means that you're moving toward the thing that you want with the conscious expectation that you're going to get it. And it must be continuous. So a lot of people say, well, my desire is up and down. One day it's big and I'm excited. Next day I'm like, I don't feel so inspired, or my body's not feeling well, or something went wrong and it grabbed my mind. You control the continuous expectation of it. You have total control over that, right? That's the ability to choose moment by moment by moment by moment in the day. And if you choose to stay in that conscious thought and you just choose to stay in that vibration, Then the next part happens, and here's the second part. It says, it brings to us the ways and the means for its manifestation. The principle explains no desire is felt until the supply is ready to appear, and no mind can be conscious of a need or a desire unless the possibility of its fulfillment already exists. So that means that you're conscious of it. You have a desire, you have a need. If you stay continuously expecting, we go into the second part. Let's break it down. He said, number one, it brings to us the means, the ways and the means for its manifestations. So when you say how, he's telling you how. By consciously continuing to expect it, to moving forward toward it all the time. What does that do? It makes you aware of what you need and how it's going to come within the universe, within your life. Think about what he's saying here. It brings to us the ways and the means for its manifestations. You don't need to know how. He's telling you this is how you get the how. By the continuous conscious expectation of the fulfillment. You're constantly moving toward the thing that you want, and the ways and the means will show up. In other words, the how, the money, the people, the opportunity, it will show up. Second, he says no desire is felt until the supply is ready to appear. So when you feel you have a need, when you feel you have a desire, he's pointing something out here that's extremely important. It is the law of polarity in and of itself. It means it's ready to come into your life right now. It's already here because it's the opposite side of what you want or what you need or what you desire. It's in your life. Now, this is the part that people struggle with because it's like, where? Well, show me where it is. I can't see it. No, you can't see it because your perception sees what you don't have. You have to train your mind to see the opposite. How do you do that? You continue to move forward with the expectation. Then your perception finally picks it up. You're telling your mind, this is coming. Here's what I'm looking for. And as you move forward, it begins to manifest. You begin to see it because it's already in your life. Third, he says no mind can be conscious of a need or a desire unless the possibility of its fulfillment already exists. In other words, if you couldn't have it, if you shouldn't have it, if there was no way for you to have it, if there was no how for you to have it, you wouldn't even be conscious of it. The fact that you're conscious of the thing that you want means that it's already there, it's ready to come into your life, and whatever possibilities have to happen in order for it to manifest, they're already here. It says it already exists right now in your life. It's connected. They're literally connected together. The want and the need is here, and the thing that you want and need is here, and they're connected in the center. That's the law of polarity. Now, if you know that, you can do something very unique that most people can't do. You can operate with even more than faith. You can operate with a knowing that that's how the law works. When I came across this book in the mid to the late 90s and I read this paragraph, I wanted to jump out of my chair because it was the first thing in a condensed, reasonable explanation that explained to me what happened when I was on that dock in 1993 and my income tripled, that it had always been there. I just didn't see it because I was so focused on what I didn't have, what was going wrong, how negative I was about everything, what other people were doing to me in my life, like my bosses screaming at me and like I was focused on all the wrong things. But when my attitude changed, it changed my perception. And when my perception changed, I saw the opportunity sitting right in front of me that the day before I would have argued with you to the death didn't exist, but it was right there. And I never heard anything explain it so clear and concise as this paragraph in Working with the Law. So when I saw that, I marked that page and I kept it open on my desk for years. And every time my mind would go to the idea of how's it going to happen? Where's it going to come from? Where's the money going to come from? Where are the people going to come from? I would sit and read this over and over and over. And then I would get up and I would speak it loudly with my voice with great intention in my body, and I would walk up and down the hallway in my house doing this because I wanted to change. I wanted to make this burnt into my mind so that every time I saw something that I didn't have or my mind started to wonder, I would immediately go to this truth. And I could rest in that truth. My energy would be in that truth. But it also put my action in that truth. Because here's what I would say. Let's say that I woke up one day and I'm like really short on leads or something, right? I'm like, well, they're here. They're absolutely here. They're going to show themselves. Now, I've been in business for 27 years and this has never not happened, okay? But that's been my attitude the entire time that I've been in business. It always shows itself. The sales show itself, the people show itself, the leads, the speaking engagements, every single thing that I need to move this business forward consistently manifests in my life. But down to the core, the center of my being, I believe what Halliwell wrote in this paragraph. I know it and I act on it. I don't let myself think I'm not going to talk to that person. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go there. If it's something I want and it manifests, I'm doing it. That's it. So the only thing that you have to do is that if this is not burned into your mind, you need to burn it into your mind. Now, here's what most people do because they just don't take this as serious as they need to. They will sit there for days on end with doubt rolling around in their mind. That's the worst thing that you do because you're reinforcing the beliefs that you don't want. You have to take a tool like this, and the second that you notice that your mind is going to doubt, you've got to jump up and you've got to really emote from yourself with great passion and authority these words. Stand up, move your body. It changes the programming in your mind. Now, I tell you all the time, I did this for 2 years. It took that long in order to stop that internal chatter from, constantly going on and on and on and on. But it still kicks up from time to time. And I will do something. I will read this. I listen to like Neagle, different people all the time. Every day, there's not a day goes by that I don't. Multiple times a day. I use those tools. They are amazing tools. And the tools are getting better all the time. I know that some of the stuff that's floating around with Neville's all AI, but damn, it's his voice. It's a copy of what he believes, of what he taught, of the speeches. I mean, I have all the original speeches like on cassette tape from Neville Goddard. It will not fail you, but you have to do the work. And that's a big part of the work. If you're working in a negative mindset, if you're working in a triggered mindset, if you are allowing your mind to go down that path, I don't care if it's for 5 minutes, you're reinforcing what you don't want. That's already unbelievably strong in your mind. Now, there's a big difference between when you were 13 and today. If you stay in your business, you're not going to outgrow the repetition of what the challenges are in business. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be some version of that your whole career. When you were 13, you went to 15, then to 20, then to 25, then to 35, and your environment changed. So you didn't have the same problems. And as your environment changed, you grew. But guess what? You have to be in charge of your environment. Nobody else is. You've chosen something for yourself. You've chosen an environment for you to be in. Now you have to choose who are you going to be in that environment. That law, the law of polarity, it will allow you to accomplish anything. It will allow you to find anything that you need. Because when you live by the idea that it's already here, it's in your life right now. The people, the sales, the opportunities, everything that you need. It becomes very apparent that the only reason you would be struggling and not getting it is because you're stopping somewhere. At some point, you're not doing the work. You're not listening to the audios. You're not doing the affirmations. You're not expecting and assuming what's coming into your life. You're not picking up the phone and talking to the people or going to the place. You still have to do the cause and effect stuff, but it all comes together perfectly as you control the way that you think. It's the one environment that you have complete and total control over, your internal environment. And when you master your internal environment, you master your outer environment. And you master all the problems that come along, all the challenges. It's no big deal. It doesn't stress you out. You're not walking the floors at night. You're not freaking out because you know that the opposite side of whatever problem shows up already exists. And all you have to do is focus on the side that you want. But if you say to me, but I'm doing that and it's not happening, then you're lying to yourself. You're not doing it. You're going back and forth in your mind. This is something you have to work at consistently every day, every time your mind flips into a negative place. And it's easier than ever. You've got it on your phone, have it ready to go, push that app that you've got the audio recording on, right? And just let it play because it'll cause your mind to start reacting in a completely different direction. And as you do it, you're reprogramming it. When you combine that with your activities, it becomes extremely powerful. You become a master manifester. That's where you get into the first universal law, was the perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy is always moving to and through you, but as it passes through you, it picks up the images and the ideas and the emotions within you, and it manifests it outside of you as the reality that you have, right? So perpetual transmutation of energy, cause and effect, law of polarity, law of vibration, law of rhythm, law of gender, law of relativity. Those are the laws. They flow together like the colors of a rainbow, and it's all about how you use your mind to create your life. You create every aspect of it, but you have to be disciplined. So you know whether or not you're actually doing this several times a day or not. You know when your mind goes to a negative place, are you actually picking something up and doing something to change it or not? I know it's work. What's the alternative? You're going to struggle for the rest of your life? Or do you want to be wealthy and have fun and be happy and life is just absolutely amazing? That's sitting in the palm of your hand every day. What do you do mostly with this object? Do you scroll crap that's just crap? Do you use it to make millions of dollars? What do you do with this thing? This is an unbelievable tool. It can destroy your life, or it can make you an extremely wealthy person that's in total control of their thinking. Give that some serious thought. Don't stop here. If this message moved you, hit subscribe and keep building momentum with the next video in the playlist. And if you're ready to take this further, head to our website and grab the free resources waiting for you in the link below. They'll help you start putting this into practice right now.